Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the M44, the Tier 6 American SPG. This one's located on the south spawn of Pilsen, and it's under the command of Shits and Giggles. Now, sometimes you get a battle where Arty is instrumental in winning the game, and without us, you wouldn't get it. This is such a battle. Put up this morning by Shits and Giggles, or rather sent over to me. Okay, you can see he's had quite a few wins in this Arty. He's got loads of marks on the rear of his vehicle. 155mm howitzer mounted on a Walker Bulldog hull. They didn't make a huge number of M44s, only about 250 or thereabouts, because we don't know precisely how many did actually get made. But it was sold to Turkey, and they still got some. You wouldn't be surprised to see some of these actually in Ukraine very shortly. Well, it might at least, although the Russians might be upset if they do go into Turkey. It wouldn't quite be as accurate as some of the other Arty they've got, but it's still pretty effective all the same. 550 Alpha, penetrating 39mm of armor, and a reload time of 17.28 seconds for Shits and Giggles, but the standard reload is 21 seconds, so he's actually not quite a lot off. 4 seconds off. Looking over on the railway line, lines it up. Oh, there. And perfect! Absolutely perfect. I was right. That was the spot to aim for. He drove into the shell and he got penetrated and wiped out completely. I haven't seen this replay before, but I had a feeling that that was the spot to aim for and he was going to go straight through it. He kept moving backwards and forwards. Okay, we're going to go for the Churchill 3 and he gets the splash for 16. Yep, I think Shits and Giggles had exactly the same idea as me and decided that was the spot that he needed to fire at, and it worked. I think Arty players do tend to have a better intuition than other players. It's almost like we've watched so many battles, observing the battles as they're going on, whilst the tank drivers are having to think about where they're going to go next and what tactics they're going to do. Arty players are watching the behaviour of the enemy tanks in order to work out where they need to place the shells. He's decided to change position right at the edge of the map now. He seems to have more tanks on this side of the map, but we're heavy on the railway side. Okay, we've got a Wolverine, very thin armour. And we've got a T-52 now. He's dialing in. I'd hold the aim on a specific spot. There, that'll do. So he's moving backwards and forwards. Rounds out. Good hit. It lands short. I'm not sure if he was fully dialed in at that point. I would have stayed focused on that area because that Wolverine looked like it was an easy kill. He's looking around, but he's not settling on any particular target at the moment. He's having to make up his mind where you need to settle on one target, Shits and Giggles. Hold your aim on a specific spot. Don't keep adjusting, because if you do, you'll never get to a position where you're ready. You have to judge. Okay, that might have hit the Wolverine, we don't know, but he can get a hit from this KV-1 now. Almost there. Rounds out. Direct hit. KV-1 took that one. Okay, he's down to 70 hit points now. The next shot will take him out of the game, and I think he's going to stay in the general vicinity. So round out, this could be a hit. Oh, it didn't kill him. I think it missed him, but actually exploded behind. He's still there though. He's going for the Wolverine. thin armor on this one, remember. 12.7 millimeters. And he gets a kill shot. Nice. So 2 kills now for shits and giggles. I think that KV1's probably still in the vicinity. Our KV2's going up to find him. In fact, we found the enemy Arty. Okay, so line up a shot. Work out where he's going. That should do the trick. Instead, he changes the target and goes for the Stug. And the Stug just wiped out our A46. Yeah, he's moving. So, yeah, that shell's going to miss, I'm afraid. I'd go for the SU8 because he's he's been damaged and he's much thinner armor. But he's now changed position. In fact, it looks like all of our teammates on the east side of the map have been wiped out. And there's the KV1. He's gone to overhead view because he wants to see if he can get a shot in there. But the M10 RBFM's already done the job. Now, the bad news is the enemy's probably already on their way over to our cap, and they're 1 tank up on us after the KV1 was killed. Not wanting to get killed himself, Shits and Giggles decided to go up to the north end of the map, join the M10 and the Jagdpanzer IV and going for the cap area. He can still defend his cap all the way from up there just by lobbing a shell all the way over the battlefield, and yes, the enemy is now capping. I think what he's going to do, instead of going to the actual cap, is he's popping up to the northwest corner of the map because that Stug is still a threat to him. And he's having a look while he's on the move to see where the Stug is. Has he got an actual line-up and shot? Yes, he has. So he's decided to stop and turn the vehicle towards the Stug. Unfortunately, he's going to have to shoot through a tower in order to get to the guy. Lined up, rounds out, and that stuns him, but it didn't kill him, and he did get spotted. But the Stug is down. The worry is now that the SU8 on the enemy team knows where he is, but we know where the SU8 is. And that means the tank that's in the cap is either the Achilles or it's the Matilda. Okay, SU8. Still dialing in. He fires without dialing in fully. And I think that's why he didn't get the kill there. The shell went long and hit the pipes. Okay, the Matilda's here, so it must be the Achilles that's in the cap area. He needs to get a reset. Firing at the Matilda without being dialed in, and gets 141 from a near miss. But we need to get a reset because otherwise the enemy team's going to win. Okay, so he's aiming towards the cap area and he's hitting the spot that most tanks are likely to be in. Rounds out. 2 seconds. 1 second. Oh, we got a reset! And he got a reset for 100 capture points. So the Achilles was sitting behind that rubble, and he did get reset. Okay, we're going to fire another one in there. And he's moved now. Yep. And he's gone over to the other side. In fact, he was the other side when that shell went in. The splash extended just enough to actually touch the Achilles. And the Achilles is now being constantly reset. Rounds out. And a nice splash for 166. It landed short. Now our M10 is the only tank down that far end now. But I'm sure he can get the reset on the Achilles, even though he's only got a 76mm gun. Line him up. Rounds out. And yes, that's a kill. So now 3 kills for Shits and Giggles. He's changing position because there's still that enemy SU8 out there somewhere. There's also a Matilda Black Prince somewhere around as well. Gone up the hill to hide in the bushes. He's relying on the M10 RBFM to tell him where the enemy is. And he can easily do this. He just needs to provide support for the M10 RBFM. And that's difficult on the Pilsen map because there's so many buildings that get in the way of shells. Now, the SU8 was last seen over this side of the map. I think you can fire around in there just on the off chance he happens to be there in the same spot. But I think he's going to hold onto his shell just for the moment and let the M10 RBFM show him where the enemy is. He's having a quick look down at the cap area. I'd have a look up ahead of where the M10's going. He's going to be the first one to spot the enemy, and so you need to be dialed in on the spot where he can likely to see him. We found the enemy. It's an SU8 making his way towards cap, so you need to lead the target, and he gets wiped out by the M10. That means there's only one enemy left, the Matilda Black Prince. He's been badly damaged. We know that. He's only got a few hit points. According to the screen, it's showing he's got 80 hit points left. So he's a one-shot. A splash kill, actually. If Shits and Giggles can land the shell near him, he'll take him out. Well, the M10's decided to come back and start capping. Oh, he's a one-shot as well. Just looking at that, he's decided very wisely to come around this side of the rubble. I'm not sure on which side that Matilda Black Prince is going to come back, if he does come back, and I think he will. In fact, I'd be tempted to actually get into the cap myself and help finish off the game. Both him and the M10 RBFM got 3 kills, so they could platoon and get themselves a brothers in arms as well. Oh, there he is. In fact, he's not that far away from us. We turn to face him. It's really helpful that we've got an artillery piece, a howitzer on a swivel mount. Round out. That's a kill. Beautiful shot right into the side. And that wins the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was the second class tanker for Shits and Giggles in the M44. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 8. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly, and he did get a defender. He reset the cap at 100 points. The enemy was just about to win, and he put a shell in there which reset it. The Achilles was struck and had to start all over again. If we look at team score, we can see he didn't get the highest damage in the game. That actually went to the M10 RBFM. 2,215 hit points to him. Next highest was the Achilles, the one that was capping, 1,607. And the third highest damage was the Su-85I, the overpowered premium tank destroyer. Yeah, he managed to get 1,451. We can see Shits and Giggles got 1,331. And that actually puts him in 5th place overall, because the A46 managed to beat him only by 37 hit points. When it came to kills, though, he scored the most. He got 4 kills. 3 kills went to the M10 RBFM and the A46 and the Su-85I on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it's the M10 who did the best with this one. 1,350 to him. 921 went to the A46, and then 722 went to Shits and Giggles. He fired only 16 rounds, got 4 direct hits on the enemy and 1 pen and 10 splash. Damage of 1,331 hit points, of which 1,251 broke more than 300 meters. 6 enemy vehicles were damaged, 4 killed, 230 hit points of stun assist off 7 stuns, and of course he got that 100 defense points by resetting the Achilles. 20,285 credits from the game, 15,214 from personal reserve, total of 45,642. And because the shells are so cheap on this Arty, he still managed to make a profit with 37,562 credits. 722 XP, 1,083 from personal reserve bonus, took away 2,166 experience points altogether. Let's have a brief look at the armor on this thing. Yeah, it hasn't got much. 12.7 millimeters. It's virtually one of the lightest armed vehicles, or armored vehicles, I should say, in the game, because basically it's just 12.7 millimeters all around. it hasn't kept any of the armor that the Walker Bulldog would have. But the reason for this is actually very simple. It is carrying a huge howitzer, as well as a huge amount of ammunition as well. And that's why the thing is so heavy, and that's they've lightened the weight by taking off all the armor to make it possible for this thing to motor. And it does motor. It goes 56.3 kilometers maximum speed, so it is fast, but that lack of armor can be a bit of an undoing, because it means any tank can penetrate it, no problem whatsoever. So it's very vulnerable. You have to remain hidden, but it does have a very meaty howitzer and capable of shotgunning in return and taking out an enemy tank who's assaulting it, so long as you can keep your gun facing the enemy. And if you auto aim onto them and they get close enough, then there's no chance you're going to miss, because the gun's going to follow the target, and then you should be able to hit them. So let's have a look at the modules. Okay, you can see that the engine's right up front, but the driver's actually at the back in the cabin. He's sitting up front right next door to the screen, so you can see. The engine's sandwiched between two fuel tanks. It's got the transmission in front. It's basically a Walker Bulldog in reverse, like many Arty. They just turned the tank around and they put the gun at the forward, or what would be the forward part of the vehicle, actually becomes the rear of the vehicle. The howitzer is mounted in a swivel mount right in the center of the vehicle. You can see there's two massive ammo racks right at the back, two loaders. The gunner is on the left-hand side, tank commander behind him, and of course that driver is on the right-hand side. So yeah, it is vulnerable. If you want to set one of these off and get an ammo rack, aim for the rear of the vehicle. You should be able to get it through, no problem at all. It's thin armor, and that should make a very big bang. It's also open cockpit, so it means that if you're an Arty and you're attacking one of these things and the shell lands in the actual cockpit, it should wipe the whole thing out very, very quickly indeed. So if you enjoyed that replay, please give it a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below, because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.